Hey all, this is Dino the Ops Guy. Welcome back to Production Management in Practice, or Stardew Production Management 101. It's basically a course in production management, but it's focused really in Stardew Valley, so all the examples kind of come from there. I'll make up, if there's nothing in Stardew Valley that completely connects, I'll use old stories or I'll tell you sort of another situation. But for the most part, is being driven by the application. So given that Stardew Valley is a bit of an operations or a production style game, you have to produce stuff. It's actually a really good environment for this sort of thing. And if you want, you can probably play it along at home. But hopefully introduce some of the concepts or the ideas, if that works for you. This is episode 20. That means there were 19 other episodes that should be available on YouTube. If you want, you can go through those or just start here. That's totally up to you. But we're going to get right into it. So I have a good friend of mine, Av, who is in the factory, and Av is the production manager. I sort of do the strategic side of things or the management side of things, but so I usually put together a list of things that I might want Av to look into. In this case, day 20 objectives are harvest. We got a mahogany seed. Those tend to be pretty valuable because they grow hardwood, and hardwood is kind of hard to come by in the game. Not just one or two is going to be easy enough, but most things that require hardwood need like 80 or 100 at a time. So growing your own hardwood tends to be pretty important, and we're going to start doing that. At least we plan to. For the coop that we're planning, we need 300 wood. So if we can spend some time doing that, that would be good. If we see there's sort of rings in the water. If you see those, you get a big advantage for fishing. So we're going to sort of look for those as we go. If we get to the mines, look for copper. We're not in a lucky day, so days are sort of lucky and unlucky. This is more of on the unlucky day, so we don't expect to get a whole bunch of floors in the mine. They usually come on lucky days, but nonetheless, get some copper so we can upgrade our tools. And if there's free time, we still need, for our bundles, a bullhead. So if you could find the bullhead up at the mountain lake, that'd be great. If you're in the mood to forage, certainly the ocean has some good foraging. But other places as well. It's not as important that we get the spring forage items because we've sort of exhausted our inventory of those. We can still use a few more, but it's not as big a windfall as it was before. But anyway, so we have this. Av, I am going to turn it over to you, and I'm sure you will just do a bang up job of this. Okay, thanks, Dino. We are back. It's day 20. Certainly, it was good for us to get the mahogany seed, so we'll do our best to get in the ground. That's a good find. And we've already started sort of a tree farm over on the west side of the farm. So we're just going to continue with that. As long as we have the pattern, even before the trees are grown, we'll know what they are. So that's kind of helpful. So that was a bit of a harvest. Mayor's given us 500 for all the good stuff that we're doing. So I don't measure myself by how much the mayor gives me. I measure myself by how much we produce on the farm. So that's one of those categories. Yeah, I'll spend the other 500, but it doesn't go towards any value-added measure. So a big part of this is having this sort of notion that we can measure what value we add on any given day so that we can improve, get better, because that's really what we're trying to do, not just find coins on the ground that we're picking up and calling them earnings. So I don't typically use the earnings number as a measure of how well that myself or Dino and myself are doing. Basically, we use a separate accounting system that works down to specific value added. So if I plant 80 for if I spend 80 on cauliflower seeds and it grows up to be 175 cauliflower, well, the difference is what I've added. So that's kind of what we're going for. So that's the deal. it's just a better way to understand what's going on in production. Um, and we're almost done with our watering, and then we're going to make our way over with the mahogany seed. We got some good strawberries. We try and keep 16 strawberries. We try and keep them of base value, but given that we have more than we don't have 16 base value, we have some. Oh, there was moss. That's awesome. So moss is good. We're going to need that later. But we try and keep 16 strawberry because you can't even buy them next year until the next egg festival. So keeping them and then building a seed maker is pretty valuable. So we're going to keep the 16. The 4 that you see there, the 2 gold and the 2 silver, are net of those 16, so we can sell those. We're going to, so this is a tree farm. We got 3 rows for the 3 types of trees. The pine on the far left, oak in the middle, maple on the right, and then 2 over from that. I always use 2 spacing because it's easier for them to grow. 2 over from that, I put the mahogany seed. And rather than come in the same line, it's going to go 90 degrees perpendicular. So it'll actually go towards the house, if you will. Once we get more mahogany seeds, and we will. So the point being that we want to grow mahogany trees and get more mahogany seeds and grow more mahogany trees. Again, because the things that we need hardwood for tend to be in the 80, 100 range or 200 range. So when you need them, you need a lot. It's not sort of a trickle. It's got to be essentially a deluge. So we are preparing for that. As well, it was on the agenda that we wanted to get 300 wood. So that's part of what's going on right here. Trying to get as much wood as we can. Now, in the process of getting wood, we're also going to end up getting some sap, which isn't terrible. That helps us. I don't use sap a lot, but it does help us for, there's one fishing lure and even fertilizer, if you're using sort of one of the early fertilizers. So not the worst situation in the world. Now, I'm purposely not cutting weeds, and I talked about this in, I think it was 19, that essentially, if you cut weeds, they stop growing. If you leave a couple weeds behind, they will tend to help multiply other weeds. And the weeds that you want basically to harvest, because they're going to give you mixed seeds. They come mixed seeds in the spring, and if we get mixed seeds now, we won't be able to plant them because a mixed seed could be a potato, which would be okay today, I think, or a parsnip, which would be okay today, or a cauliflower, but you won't know until you plant that cauliflower, and that's just going to die in the field. There's nothing you can do about it. So there's no sense in risking that and planting mixed seeds now. So we'd wait till summer. But as well, if you wait till summer to harvest, to cut the weeds to see if you get mixed seeds, you could also get mixed flower seeds. And those are even more valuable than mixed seeds. So I'm purposely trying to avoid a whole bunch of weed cutting until, see, there's some more weeds, until we get to the first of summer. And then start again. And then I'm going to kind of play the same, with dust rights. We're not even in the right floors yet. We kind of play the same game again. In the fall, we'll let the weeds grow up until we start in the fall, and then we'll chop them down and plant for the most lucrative mixed seeds output. Actually, not the most lucrative. Once we get to Ginger Island, it'll even be more lucrative, but up, sort of progressively lucrative. So we're going to look for the rings here. If we see any, then we are going to fish. And even if we don't, it's well worth it. We're looking to catch sunfish. It's sunny out. It's not quite 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock yet. So there's a chance that we could catch sunfish, fairly easy to catch if you get one on your hook. And this might be it. There it is. There's a sunfish. So we also want to use the same sort of fishing area to find bream, but that won't show up for at least another hour or so. So we're going to look. We found some spring onions, still worth eating, those spring onions. As we get more and more crops and higher value crops, little things like picking up spring onions are going to be less and less significant. So it was very, very valuable the first few days. More as we get later into the game, it's going to be just a pinprick kind of thing, not a big deal at all. So, we're going to say hi to Elliot and make our way to forage. Also looking for the rings to see The advantage again of the rings is it gives you, I think, one level deeper than the area you're fishing in, so it gives you access to bigger fish, but it also almost doubles your probability. So I think it does double your probability. So it just makes fishing go a lot faster. Hey, Willie. I talk to him and then he leaves. Look at that. So, oh, and we got the kids too, and Penny. So that's awesome. Oh, and Sam and Sebastian. This is just a good stroll where we can, say hi to the neighborhood. That's awesome. Okay, so let's go back. We're going to now fish for our bream. The sunfish are gone. It's too late in the day for that. But on the night fishing bundle, there's also bream. And if we can find, there we go, we got a bream. So our fishing has been pretty effective so far. I don't know how lucrative, given that everything's going to go into a bundle, but exactly what we're looking for. So that's you can't beat that, really. So we're gonna make our way over. So it takes 2 to 3 days for those pickle jars to harvest or to finish. So normally I just wait till the morning because I don't see that they're ready, but what the heck? If they're ready now, then I'm just going to replace them now. The other thing is we have a few things, the mackerel, the sunfish, the bream. All of those are for the sake of putting them in bundles. So we're going to go buy the bundles on the way to the mines and drop off some of the stuff that we have. So that's kind of the plan. We do want to put in one more smelt. It's nice that we can get all kinds of copper, but if you don't convert it to copper bars, it's not as effective. So you kind of got to be diligent about keeping those loaded. So red mushrooms actually show up in 2 different bundles. One is an optional bundle. Well, the bundle's not optional, but you don't need a red mushroom necessarily to complete the bundle. One, you do need the red mushroom. In the dye bundle, you definitely need the red mushroom, so we're going to put that in. But we can also contribute a red mushroom to in the exotic foraging bundle, which is on the other side of the house, or the other side of the community center. The chef's bundle includes that maki roll. We're going to put our sunfish in. We're going to put our bream in. And then we're going to make our way with that red mushroom to the other side. So I'm just realizing now, the other thing we could have put in there was cave carrot that we have, but that's not a rush. There's still a lot going on there. Usually I don't finish that bundle until we get to the desert. So plenty of time there. We're nowhere near getting to the desert. Heck, we're still in the spring. So we're going to make our way to the mines, and we are essentially still in the tail of the copper floors. You can get copper on any level, but these are predominantly copper floors. But we could potentially see the odd iron ore here. So as we cut through some of the stones, there was a geode. We could get lucky and find some iron. Usually not enough to make a difference. Like, we're not going to get 5 to make an iron bar, but even then, it's worth sort of collecting. We got those green-eyed creepers that keep coming up, golems or whatever. I call them golems, but I don't know what. I should really look up what the game calls them. The ladders are coming pretty quick. That's nice. I did not expect that we would do all that well with the ladders, honestly. So there's one of the buddies and another ladder. Oh, and it's midnight. So we're just going to finish up with this copper. And just sort of be specific about what we're looking for. The coal is already gone. We got that quartz, and we got the barrel. So I think it's time to go home. But all in all, I think we've made some headway. Certainly we got our 300 wood. I think it's 320 thereabouts. We got the mahogany tree planted. So hopefully that'll come up pretty quickly. They don't have as regular a schedule. It's sort of a bit of a random schedule. At some point we'll be able to fertilize the trees, but we don't have that formula yet. Looking forward to that. Gonna put stuff away. One more smelting pattern to go in, and then it's off to bed. We'll see what happens here. So, we got the tiller achievement. Wow, that's good. We actually get more money for the stuff that we grow. That's awesome. So we will check the TV. It says it's going to be clear and sunny. We don't really care about that. And it also says they're in good humor. So we'll actually do some well in the mines for day 21 when it comes to that. Back to you, Dino. Okay, thanks, Av. That was wonderful. We did get the harvest done. And in the harvest we got 20 strawberries, four of which we sold, but the other 16 we're holding because we think they're going to be valuable to make seeds later. As we get more base product, we'll probably sell off the better product, but or we may even put some in jars depending on how many cauliflower we have. But just sort of getting through, we got our mahogany seed planted. So we started a little mahogany grow area for our hardwood. We got 300 wood for the coop. We still need stone, but that was part of going to the mines. We were searching for fishing spots. We didn't find any fishing spots, but we did catch the sunfish that we needed and the bream that we needed. So that was pretty good. Went to the mine. That was good. And as far as free time, didn't have a ton, but we did get the tiller achievement, and that's awesome. It's one of those good news, bad news stories, though, from this standpoint that in the accounting system that I'm using to sort of make sense of how much value we're adding in any situation, it's based on the, you can see the line, second line there under produce, that carrots are worth 35, carrot plus are worth 43, carrot double plus is worth 52, and cauliflower is worth 175, and cauliflower, plus or silver is 218. All of that is going to change now. So I now have to essentially freeze out all the accounting system that I have up to now and sort of restart the new stuff with a new set of prices or costs, whatever you want to leave. So it's one of those things where, every once in a while the company's doing better, but thereby some department is not doing better, and you just have to suck it up. That's the way it is. So it's just, it happens fairly often. I did not think it would happen in Stardew Valley, to be fair, but Concerned Ape, the programmers or the programmer did a good job of creating just enough, sort of deking that I got to deal with it in this program now. So I deal with it the way I normally would. You just roll with it. I do have a story from the real world that sort of sets the stage for this. There was I was working at a company where we had 3 manual lines, and meaning there was very little mechanical involvement, but a lot of operators, and to understand what's going on the lines better, I could look at the shift numbers and divide through to say how much per hour or whatever the case. But I also wanted to understand what was their, sort of when they're working well, what's the rate versus when they're, hampered by some tool that's not working or whatever the case. So what I would do is I would walk into the area and I would randomly choose one of them that was running and audit them with some, I think I was using a stopwatch, but it could have been a video camera, either way. And what that would do is I would see how many they would get out per minute with each of the splits to say, if it's 5 second, 5 second, 20 second, 5 second sort of thing, I would know if something was going on in the middle or what was happening, etc. But as they're coming off the line, for all 3 lines, and I get a good feel for what is a good run speed and what gets in the way of having a good run speed, which is exactly what you want to do in production. And the story kind of diverges a bit because at the time there was a change they were doing in performance metrics and in accounting, and the accountant came to me and said, Dino, we want to know what the 100% rate for speed is. Like how fast should they be going if it's perfect, if it's 100%? And I had to explain, well, we use that a lot in mechanical lines because usually there's an engineering design behind them that has a limitation for how fast it can go. But these are manual lines, so we don't have the mechanical limitations. So I can't really tell you. And he said, well, we need a number because we're going to this system where we're kind of keep track of. And I said, okay, here's the deal. When I do this audit, some are in the high eights, 8 per minute, somewhere in the nines. And there's even one table that's close to the high nines, like 9.8, 9.9 per minute, sort of on average. So I said, this does not count when the line's down for some reason, if they're out of a product, if they're changing from one product to another. So overall, you should be able to say that they, in general, will not exceed 10 per minute. And he was pretty happy that it was a nice round number that we could use. So each table, the 100% mark would be 10 per minute. 2 weeks later, he came back to me and said, Dino, you lied to me. And I said, why did I lie? How did I lie? And he said, well, some of them are over 100%. I said, well, yes, that happens with manual lines. And I'm noticing it myself that I'm seeing 11s and I'm seeing 12s. And he said, well, what's the 100% number? Because we have to fix this. I said, well, it's still manual, but I mean, you can use 11, you can use 12 if you want, you can use 13, you can use 15 if you want, do what you want to do, because it really doesn't affect me that much. And he responded, well, no, we need something that's 100 so that they don't get above 100. He says, if they get above 100, then something's wrong. And I had to sit him down and say, you realize through all of this, we are getting better. It's not an accounting problem. It's an operational benefit. We are getting more to the customer. And it's not just an isolated metric like how much we put on a piece of paper. We are getting more up the door. We are not increasing overhead. It's just good all around. We should celebrate this. But you could see he was pretty upset that he couldn't get his accounting system to work. And I see that a lot. And it's just one of those things. Every once in a while, things get better, but someone doesn't feel that way, and you just have to deal with that. So I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to do a new, more complicated, clearly accounting system so that I know how much value added we're adding, both before the tiller achievement and after the tiller achievement, so that it's all sort of on a regular basis. Because let's face it, I mean, if I'm, taking a more expensive item and putting it into a keg or putting it into a jar, then I'm essentially leaving money on the table, and I have to figure that in my calculations. So all that to say, we're figuring this out as we're going. I think we're on the right track to do really well in Stardew Valley. And if this is helping you, I'm happy. If there's something I can do to make this easier, help you, make things clear, put it in the comments and we'll get to it. So really, I'm doing this for your benefit. There's the saying in teaching, you can teach courses, or if you're really good, you teach students. So if there's something I can do to help you as a student to figure this out, let's figure that out. So this is Dino, the Ops Guy, signing off.